In this tutorial, we will take a closer look at the key functions of Clo3D by learning how to construct a simple dress. First, let's create a new file by going into the File menu and clicking New. We will also adjust the size of the 2D pattern window by dragging the divider bar so that we have a larger space to work with. The toolbar for the 2D pattern window is made up of 3 different sets of tools: pattern making tools, sewing tools, and fabric texture tools. The first icon in each tool set has a little arrow icon, and these are the tools that are used to edit the different types of elements that are created using the rest of the tool set. Let's take a closer look at the tools within each set, starting with the pattern making tools. There are a total of 3 pattern making tools in Clo3D, and the first one of these, next to the Edit Pattern icon, is the Create Polygon tool. First, select the tool from the toolbar and click Points in the 2D pattern window to create a pattern piece. To complete the pattern, click on the first point and you'll see a frame form around the piece, which confirms that the pattern has been closed off and recognized as a complete shape. If you make a mistake while clicking points, you can always hit the Delete key on your keyboard to get rid of the last point you clicked. You can do this multiple times and the points will delete in sequence. You can also cancel the pattern entirely by pressing the Escape key. The Create Polygon tool is not limited to straight lines. You can generate curves while drawing your pattern by holding down the Control key while clicking points. The Create Rectangle tool is a bit more simple. Switch to the tool by clicking its icon, then click and drag to control and create a rectangular pattern piece. You can enter specific measurements for the rectangle by left-clicking your mouse once, and then entering the measurements in the pop-up window that follows. We can confirm the dimensions of the rectangle by right-clicking in the 2D pattern window to open up the pop-up menu and selecting the Show Line Length tab. The Create Circle tool works in the same way. Click and drag or left-click to enter specific dimensions, which in the case of the circle would be the radius. Now let's try to use these tools to make a pattern for a simple dress. We're going to use the Create Polygon tool to do this, but before we start clicking away, I want to make sure that we click in reference to the silhouette of the avatar shown in the 2D pattern window. When we sync the patterns over to the 3D space later on, the patterns will be placed in reference to the silhouette, so it'll make our lives a little easier if we use it as a guideline. For the front of the dress, we're going to have the pattern fold on the center front line, so we'll construct half of the pattern and then unfold it later. Click on the center front line near the neck, then hold down the Shift key to make sure that the next point, which would be the start of the shoulder line, is aligned with the x-axis. We can make adjustments to the pattern later, so we're going to very roughly locate the starting and ending points of the armhole, then continue on to the waistline, and then the hem. Now hold down the Shift key again so we can lock the next point on the x-axis and click on what would be the end of the center front line on the hem. Last but not least, we close the pattern off by clicking the first point of the pattern. Now that half of the pattern is complete, let's unfold it to create the rest of it. First, let's select the Edit Pattern tool from the toolbar and select the center front line of the pattern. Then right-click to open up the pop-up menu and select the Unfold tab, which when clicked on, unfolds the pattern piece along the center front line. For the back of the pattern, we're going to use the front pattern as a base. So select the pattern, then press Ctrl+C to copy, and then Ctrl+V to paste the pattern. The copied pattern moves with the mouse, and we simply click to place it next to the front pattern.